In this video, I'm gonna show you how to add a customizable gap among flex items using negative margins. Okay, so first of all, let's take a look at the HTML structure. We have a list of buttons with a parent with a class of stack. And then we have another list of buttons. In this case, the parent has also another class, stack vertical. And then we have some other classes that you can just ignore. They are classes from CodeFrame used to create vertical spacing and to center the content. We want to work with the stack classes. Okay, so in CSS we can set the display equal to flex and then a flex wrap of wrap. So flex wrap means that if the buttons don't fit in the viewport, instead of having horizontal scrolling, they will break in multiple lines. Then now for the stack vertical class variation, we can apply also a flex direction of column. So when you do so, you create a vertical stack where each item takes the full width and they are all distributed along the y-axis. Now, what about the gap? So soon enough, we'll be able to use the gap property, which right now is working for the CSS grid items. So if we add here, for example, display grid, it would work. It's not really well supported right now when applied to flex item. So let's switch back to flex. So instead of using the gap property, we can switch to a CSS custom property that we define just here, the gap property. Then we can copy this and we can target all of the children, the direct children of the stack element, and we can set the margin left equal to this variable we just created, and we can do the same for the margin bottom. So now, as you can see, we have already created some margins, but we have some issues. Over here, for example, the buttons are not left aligned to the rest of the content. So we can copy these two lines here, paste them here, but this time we want to apply negative margins. So we need the calc function and we can multiply the gap variable by -1. And this is how you create gap among flex items using negative margins. And the cool thing about this technique is that, first of all, you can change this value here and you can have a customizable gap. But what's really great is that you can use this technique for both horizontal stacking and vertical stacking. So in this case, for example, if we have a button with more text, we can just duplicate this element multiple times. And as you can see, there is the gap preserved in among all of the flex items. Finally, if you're using a CodeFrame, then you can just use the CodeFrame utility classes, for example, flex wrap, first of all, and then you can set a gap of, for example, XS. And then you can change it to gap LG or XL, for example. And as you can see, now you have a way bigger gap among the items. Now you know how to create a gap for flex items that works today in all browsers. And thanks for watching.